This episode, I'm going to talk about Trews. Now, Trews, variously spelt, is the Gallic approximation of the word trousers, the English word trousers. It now means the dress, a tartan, very carefully tailored trousers worn by lowland regiments, by officers with mess kit, and a growing number of civilian people who don't want the bother and the bulk of kilts and sporrans and the rest. Now, I can divide them broadly into two categories: Trews for day wear and for evening wear. I'll call the day wear Trews, I'll call them the tartan trousers henceforth. Evening Trews, I'll continue calling Trews. So the characteristics of a day wear a tartan trouser is a relatively relaxed fit. The leg cuff is cut straight across or with a gentle rise at the front for the break of the instep. Now this set is probably dating from the 30s and is quite well made. In this case, we only have one inseam. We do see a panel here, which I hope you can show in the film. This is a result of the requirements of tailoring. When you've got cloth of only a certain width, it's often this. You don't see this in production clothing anymore, but we frequently see these with tartan trews and trousers. A high fishtail back, because these are held up with braces or suspenders. So a high fishtail back, a single back pocket, two side pockets, and a vent pocket. Now that was then. What we more commonly see now are tartan trousers that have an outside and an inside seam. The workmanship, the quality of manufacture is good, but this is a bit of a problematic, untidy appearance to me, as we have elements of tartan disappearing into the seam. The other features we see the same. We still have the high fishtail back, buttons for the suspenders, the braces, a couple of side pockets. In this case, the owner, because this set dates from, it's only about 10 or 20 years old, that the fellow to whom these were issued, he spent a little bit of money and had this additional regimental detail put in here. Several regiments have this particular detail of the tartan that where the center element, which is commonly of this, what we see in the center element of the kilt, in this case for the Seaforth, the red stripe is seen at about where the crease would be. We don't press trews. And the white stripe, the Seaforth characteristic of the white stripe following the cuff. So those are day trews. They're a bit of a relaxed fit because they're worn while being actively employed, standing, sitting, moving around. Evening trews are a different ball of wax entirely, and they are largely influenced by the style of tailoring that we see with these 1930s mess overalls. That they're quite closely cut to the leg. Many tailors actually, I've learned, will ask whether the fellow's going to be standing or sitting mostly when he's wearing these things, and they'll tailor them accordingly. So as we can see with a set of Royal Artillery trews, riding trousers, overalls properly called, that they have the cuff has quite a dramatic relief for the instep, because in military fashion we don't want a break. We don't want wrinkles in the front seam when the person's wearing the things. It should be a completely straight line down. So which brings us to the evening trews, which we have here. And this is a very interesting set because the tailoring, the material, the quality of the materials, the quality of workmanship leads me to believe that this set was made sometime between 1880 and 1900. The characteristics being this one high fob pocket, no rear pockets. This cloth is quite remarkably faded, and again, one inside seam. It has a button fly rather than a zipper. Zipper's a false economy. They're cheaper to put in, but a zipper breaks and then you have to replace it. So a button fly with a front placket is the way to go. This is quite finely made. We have the relief at the front for the instep, and very curiously, this has a red stripe showing rather than the white stripe. It's conceivable, because this was the style tailored during the 1880s, it's conceivable that this pair dates from around the time of the amalgamations, between the 72nd and 78th. So possibly a detail like this was still they hadn't made their decisions about that yet. We have one other feature we see. These are strapped trews, is leather straps with a buckle to be worn under the instep, which with the braces on the top would keep these hanging beautifully. There wouldn't be any wrinkles or anything like that. So there we are, evening trews, day trews. They've always been, well, historically from the beginning, they had always been a status symbol because unlike a kilt of the time, these required careful, skilled, and therefore expensive tailoring. Unfortunately, the expensive tailoring thing isn't something we've been able to get past yet. So there we are, trews.